Hi guys, we're here. We just woke up from another set of dreams. Like, whoa. Part of this though, actually, proper reason. By the way, I mean, I just left the typo, so-called typo in the title. Hi, Bobo. So, liver, we'll talk about that in a second. Good morning, everybody. I was like, yeah, good morning. So, it was the weirdest thing last night, clearing the crown, because, well, so riddle me this. I don't know what's the Zoom, but y'all, okay. We're on the Zoom train. So, right as I was waking up from that dream about my grandfather, which we talked about, Jade was sleeping in the other room and he started whining because he was in the playpen. He wanted me to open the door for him. So that was number one. Then number two, after that astro chat, I went to sleep. All of a sudden, I don't remember falling asleep to like a video, a reading, or anything. Sometimes I do, but I mean, I don't recall that. Now I realize, yeah. I just turned my phone off because I was so tired. I just clicked it off, but the video was still playing. It was one of my readings. Anyway, so actually I think the one I was watching ended and it transcended into another read, which was a long read. Now, maybe some of you do recall this read, but all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I start hearing Jade going, like, what the way he does. Look at me. The way that he does when he's, like, left and he wants to be let out of some, place, like playpen or, the bathroom or something like that. When he's at a timeout or, like, whatever. So, I start hearing that, and I look up and I'm like, I didn't put Jade in the playpen. And in fact, Jade was sitting there and he was staring at me, and we were both hearing his, and we're like, me and Jade was looking at, and then I'm like, who could that be? Nobody else cries like that. Alex doesn't cry like that. Jade doesn't cry. I look at Alex and he's also looking for where the sound. We were all like fucking puzzled. Like, what the hell is the sound coming from? And I don't have like it's like I have a recording of him doing that, like on my phone that, anyway, so I look at Isaac. Isaac also, he's looking over, and it was coming from like, it sounded like the closet. So I'm like, oh my god, what in the possessed? What in the possessed? My mind started running. I'm like, someone in the fucking closet. Then I started remembering that one astro chat, someone had come in and said, if you ever hear babies crying in the bushes in New Mexico, don't approach it. I'm like, oh god, this is kind of similar. Who could it be? Who could it be now? Is someone who? And we were talking about New Mexico and that astro chat. Okay, anyway, so listen, I just like froze. I'm like, dolls, don't go in the closet. I don't know. All of us were like, and I could, no one was there, and it sounded so like real. No one was there because they weren't like, because if they smelled something, they would go running. But yeah, they were like, I don't smell nothing. I'm just hearing it. So it was just to clear the energy. It was like a Twilight Zone. We were all looking at each other like some four musketeers. And I'm just like, I go around the house and I hear it every so often again. And I'm like, is this some sick ass joke? Is someone playing some sick ass joke? Like playing a recording of like a dog crying. It sounds like Jade from a pipe or something. I mean, it was so bizarre. then I'm like, where's my phone? Hey Siri, the phone thing doesn't go off. I don't know where your phone is right now. So, okay. Then I'm walking around and then I'm like, is this a freaking reading that's playing or something? And Jade is in the background, like, but I couldn't find my phone nowhere, like even nowhere in the bed. Anyways, Pisces. So, yeah, then I'm like looking around, like rummaging in my bed. I find the phone. I'm like, oh my God, the sound is... But even still, I was freaked out because I'm like, where the hell... Why would it be playing on my phone all of a sudden? And then I see there was this video where I had left the apartment, which is so rare, you guys. You guys know. I mean, never. I've seen 944 on the clock. 11% of battery. I never leave the house with them roaming. Rarely. Apparently, and some of you maybe were in that video. You remember it from the live. Jade... It was a what's happening between you and this person the next 10 days. Jade and, oh, and there was an even weirder part. Okay, hold on. So Jade was behind the door crying. I went to go get like a grocery or like a food delivery or something. So, Jade was apparently crying. And it was like, that's why it was like a good 3 to 4 minutes, but it sounded like some taunting. It was so weird because it would stop and then I would walk and then I was afraid to go into the closet, y'all. I didn't want to. I didn't know. Yeah, Jay, that's so funny, huh? Is that just so hilarious, doll? Yeah, it's one of the old tricks in the back pocket. But yeah, it's all right. Just thought maybe. Okay, so maybe I would, kind of pull it out tonight on you. Okay, so on us. On all of us, even you, Jade, your own trick got you. He also was like, sounds kind of like me. He was like, what did I do? And then he literally went back to sleep. We all did. We were all a little spooked after that. Because I understood it was coming from the phone. But I looked at him, I was like, that was you. And then he was like, his eyebrows, I swear, like, if a dog could ever furrow, he was doing it. He was furrowing his eyebrows. They look kind of quizzical and conky. And then he did not go to sleep, I think, understanding much of what happened and why. But yeah, and then his ears were kind of pinned back. Like he was feeling awkward. He was like, that was me. What do you mean? I wasn't making none of that noise. What? Anyways, and then I had to pacify him, like, no, I understood. Jade, it's not you. You didn't do anything wrong. Like, it was a video. It's okay. Go to bed, doll. But here's the thing. The minute that then I found the phone, I came back into the room on that video. And I see it said cancer. It was on the sign of cancer. It was in all signs. What's happening between you and this person in the next 10 days? The weird thing was, and this I think is a message maybe for someone else, but during that reading, during the pause, I was having an actual dream that I was in my apartment and some guy, which is so straight. Oh my God. Because I went to go get food. But some guy, Return the Crown, some guy kept opening my door and it would open straight to my kitchen. He kept opening the door and he would jam his foot inside. And he would throw, like, without my consent, he would throw a box of frozen codfish sticks. It was some kind of, like, frozen food or something. He would just throw it into the kitchen. And every time, this happened, like, every day, a few days. I'm like, hey, I didn't order that. Like, stop, which is kind of what happens more or less in the Uber out. Yeah, delivery. Because they're always getting shit wrong. But anyways, yeah. So, but then the twist here was... I kept falling in love with him. I started to fall in love with him, even though he was an intruder. He was intruding into my home, and he would, like, open the deadbolt. He knew what he was doing, and I'm like, hey, and he knew it, and he kind of started to become aggressive anyway. So, but then I started to fall in love with the guy. It was like a Stockholm syndrome. Uber Eats Stockholm, so... Yeah, syndrome. So then he was kind of forcing himself upon me, and, like, I don't know. It was weird. It was like, yeah, but it was weird because it was like only one brand. He was delivering stuff I never ordered, basically. So, yeah, it's like as if it was a subscription. He was getting me kind of, even, yeah, like hooked on that. And it was getting me angry, though, but then at a certain point, I remember I started breaking down and crying in his arms. Like, I actually let him then into my home, which I regret. In that moment, I was like, oh, no. What's that song? It feels so bad, but it feels so good. Is it Taylor Swift? Anyways. Like, I knew in that, oh, no, I'm letting him in. Like, this kind of person I should actually, like, push away. Anyways, so... return it. Yeah, this one took a twist. So basically then I was like in his arms, and like he knew he was like not doing a good thing. He felt guilty. Yeah, he was feeling some kind of guilty right there. And so I remember his hands were a little pudgy and small, and he had like almost zero, he almost had like very small to zero fingernail left, and and I could see his fingers hanging from behind the door. Like, I don't know, guys, it was a very weird, yeah, and I cannot place this man. I don't know him personally, but it was giving me even that guy on the train, on the top of the train in Polar Express. Yeah, that guy, that was his name, Joe, with a cup of Joe. Anyways, so yeah, he kind of knew this was all kinds of wrong, and I was like crying in his arms, and I was like, I knew I shouldn't. I should have. I should have. I should have loved you. Oh my god! And then right there, I woke up and I see Cancer. That's my South Node sign. I don't know, some kind of past life thing. Or I just woke up. I was like, oh god, maybe this is related to whoever was experiencing whatever in that read. I feel for them. So then I go back to sleep. And that was definitely a dream. I don't think that was my energy. So yeah, return to, yeah, just clear it. But then I had another dream. This one was involving my catalyst twin, which I pieced together after the dream. There were certain clues that, yeah, really gave it away. And so, yeah, that was interesting. He confessed some things in that dream, so that's good. Just getting things cleared out, irrigating Mars and Cap. Yeah, so that's that. And here we are. And Alex, hi, doll. Alex fell asleep in my arm. The guilty codfish man, right? Yeah. It's like he was kind of like a bandit. Like because then he was in my kitchen and he wasn't supposed to like be there, and he knew it. Like, this is wrong of me. I shouldn't be like, you know, like getting her like wrapped up like this. I mean, I don't know. Anyway. Some of them were codfish, and then the other ones were, I don't know, some kind of pizza, or it was some frozen box. It's like he knew that was in my home, but he kept delivering it there. Anyways, yeah, so, but he had a brown jacket, like a brown puffer, and like jeans. He was kind of pale. Now, yeah, then it was just that one scene. He was sitting in my kitchen, and I could feel he wasn't like genuinely like, his heart chakra was majorly blocked. He was like hugging me, and then yeah. So, but when anyway, so just bye. Now, what else? So yeah, it's like he was gonna burglarize. That's the feeling. He was gonna break in, and then instead, like, I ended up falling in love with him, and then he was kind of, I could hear him thinking that, like, how am I gonna get to the rest of the house? Ooh, awkward. So yeah. Anyways, okay. So now, but yeah. So then that dream. So interesting. Very, very varied. Yeah, guys. So, good morning. This has been very interesting. As Mars creeps closer towards Aquarius. Does anybody here have a Mars in Aquarius inherent in their chart? Like your birth chart? Okay, this one thing, though, I will share. At a certain point, I was in a computer room, and it was like in some university, which makes sense because I met my catalyst twin right in a university city because my sister was going to that university at the time. And so he was, he was like working there or something, in the computer room. And he was like overseeing like children at the computers. And it was like a lab room or something. Like he was kind of like, it was definitely like a registered thing. And it was only for children who really were going to that school or whatever. I wasn't going to that school, but like I was talking to him inside of that room about something. And then at a certain point, yeah, he was with some other dude. Oh, we were also talking about COD in that part of the dream. Okay, so hold up. Wait, so, but I was talking about cod because I was talking about how cod, like codfish oil, cod liver oil. Oh, liver in the title. Got it. Okay. Something going on with that. Very interesting. So yeah, I was talking about my health protocol and regimen. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I gotta like talk about this on the, up at the 3D with y'all, but I did. Well, so I am on like, I'm on a very special like diet now because I wanna, like, not a diet, I'm on like a health regimen. It's, it's more or less called like a Weston Price diet. So it's supposedly really good for your teeth and these types of things. So one of the things is cod liver oil. So, but I remember I'm talking to him about specifically cod liver oil. I was talking about how it's really good, like they say, you know, for your teeth, because we were talking about something like that. And then but he was standing next to one guy who was like extremely skeptical and kind of like closed-minded, like the types who are into conventional, you know, there is like a little bit like a closed-minded MD doctor. So, yeah. Now, I completely cut out, like, absolutely all, like, everything acidic. So, yeah, because I could really just, I had a moment, this is not good, and so, no. And so I was at a certain point having potato chips and, like, not quite Coke, not quite 7-Up, but I was having a soda. I mean, acid is acid, so it's just not good for my teeth, and they become like very weak, and so now I really need to like just revamp my whole diet. And I was actually on this diet some time ago, and some time like years ago, and because I like to address things from the inside out. I don't personally believe in just like treating symptoms. So, yeah, whenever my body is doing anything, I get it straight from the root. So, and that, I've told you guys about that, my healing journey with leaky gut years ago. And so, and it's weird because I was talking about that with the Catalyst twin. So, anyways, I was talking to the Catalyst twin about that, but there was this other dude there, like a little bit like a surveilling dude. He was standing around, like they were both overseeing, and they were like monitoring this room with the computers with the children. And this one guy, like everything I would say, he would like kind of talk over me, like, yeah. I thought that said Valentine. Yeah, my Valentine vitamin. I'll be sure to take that one on the 14th, right? You take it, Andre? So, when do y'all take your Valentine vitamins? Yeah. So, vitamins. I got like vitamins and everything. I used to be really into this, you know, always my health was like absolutely number one. I mean, we do go through moments, but yeah, so, but always I was, very much into it. And things kind of changed. You know, you like I say, you go through these timelines. It's like freaking wormhole, you know. And survival becomes a different conversation entirely. But this is now starting up again. I'm very happy about that. I had a huge like wake up call kind of moment. I'm like, fuck this. I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. You know, like having soda instead of water. I mean, what? And I mean, we've talked about this even on this channel recently about alkaline and all of that. So, but sometimes, you know, I'm a Scorpio rising, and that with it comes a lot of transformations, and sometimes spirit, you know, they communicate in different ways. sometimes things have to get really intense for you to really understand what's happening. Otherwise, like, you're not really, it's like, yeah. But I started to feel some like tooth pain and like sinus specifically. So, and I just intuitively knew like I need to strengthen my teeth because all of my teeth were feeling kind of sensitive, like all of my mouth, and so it's my immune system, basically the whole system. I need to focus on that more than just this, also just the ethereal realms. The 3D, your vessel is everything too, in this space. So anyways, I started to get really back into that as of lately, and I am taking cod liver oil. So not just cod liver though, it's fermented cod liver oil. So they really talk about, Jade, did you just break off a piece of that? Careful, Angel. So they say that you absolutely have to treat your teeth when it comes to your teeth with your diet. There's a lot to this, and they just don't teach us these things. I mean, partly, can you imagine how hard it would be to monitor people's diets? You can't control people, and boy, would it be such a liability. Like, okay, yeah, you could fix this cavity, you could remineralize it, but you would have to eat these things. And I mean, I mean, with this modern day, I understand how, in a way, it's so it's also profitable, obviously, but it's also just it's controversial. Like these American healthcare systems or whatever, they just want to get you hooked on this, like, let's just fix the symptoms thing. And I every time like I ever just return it. I don't believe in that. So anyways, I had to really side with faith and do my research and go within into my reservoir of also my personal knowledge, because I do feel that I carry over knowledge from a past life about holistic and natural medicines and these types of things, and I'm very intuitive with that. So as I feel for myself, and I've found that throughout the years I've been able to sort of treat certain things within myself also intuitively. I recommend always, this is a disclaimer for you, to talk to your naturopath before making any lifestyle decisions, but that's me. So and yeah, basically though, I have decided to get back into that, number one, and I've completely like stopped all acidic drinks and absolutely zero sugar, and that's been what I'm focused on. So interesting, because I also had some orange juice for the first time in a very long time recently. I started to drink orange juice out of nowhere. And I never drink orange juice. Interesting. I almost said Jordan juice. That makes me think of Michael Jordan. Okay, so yeah, but anyways, so I started to have more of and that's the thing too, like, it's addictive, and all of that is just not good. Like, you start just blindly having this thing. So I'm totally off of that. I have no problem kicking addictions, especially when it comes to like my body communicating with me. Whenever like if I decide that's it, so I completely cut that off, and I'm not at all having none of that. I've had absolutely no grains, no starch, and I'm back on that whole train. And I'm replacing those foods that have zero, more or less, nutritional value and are just basically acidic and wrecking the pH of my saliva, which is meant to deliver nutrients into your teeth via your gums, with very high nutrient dense foods. So I'm squaring things away here a bit. And we are getting back on that train, love and light to my healing journey. So I there was one last night, and it's like you're telling yourself, I know this is not good for me, like, why am I doing this? And those are the moments, like, those are the things, and those are the foods, and those are the things that make you bypass your own internal compass that gotta go. I mean, something about ketchup. Now, apple cider vinegar is great. The only thing is that, the acid. I know when you ingest it, it turns to alkaline, but when you're actually ingesting it, unless you're having it through like a straw or something. So I'm keeping absolutely everything acidic off of my teeth. I'm not having nothing acidic on my teeth, and I'm already feeling a huge, we'll talk maybe a different video, but anyways, to answer the question, the fermented cod liver oil, that's something I am taking. And so, but I was in the context of this guy, I was talking to him about how I was telling him about my healing protocol for, yeah. And this other guy was like, oh yeah, I heard, yeah. It's like, he was just a weirdo. So anyways, he got to go by. And so I left that, I returned the crown. So, but this other guy, he was listening. And so the Catalyst twin, but then he started to walk me out of the room after we started talking for some time. And then I started to get a bit offended. Like, are you like, just like changing your mind up on me? Like, suddenly I'm like not cool enough. Like, I'm not a student here, so you're kicking me out or something of this room. Like, okay, I guess it was just like temporary, whatever, bye. I guess it was just this momentary like interaction. So, and then I left the room, and then he goes, come back in like 15, he said wait 15 minutes. So then I was like, oh, I guess he didn't like full kick me out, but still, then I was like, you know what, no, I gotta go to my grandma, I'm gonna have lunch with her. So, and then he was kind of like, oh, he was frozen. So it's weird, it does mimic what kind of did happen between me and him in the real 3D, but still I was kind of like, I'm too good for that, I'm not waiting no 15 minutes, god, bye. Then I really did go, and I started to like talk to my grandmother at the bus stop. We were standing by a bus stop, and we were talking, and then I decided to take this return it. I started to like, she was giving me like some, we were talking, what happened? I decided, she was like reiterating something to me, and then I left. Well, so this is the weird maybe sync. So in 3D, when I first met the Catalyst twin in DC, it was very short. It was like a blip. And then we met like twice, and then I left. Yeah. And I did feel he was kicking me out of like, well, it was his house. That was his house. And in a way I felt like, I mean, I had overstayed with my sister. She was at the time again at this university. And I was like, I mean, the timing was so fucked because it was the very last few days. I was actually planning on leaving to New York anyways, kind of, where my grandfather was living at the time. And the one who passed away, we're saying, right? Who transcended, who I had a dream of right before this dream. And so, and then I called my grandmother in 3D after that dream to tell her because he wanted to talk to her. Anyway, so return it. Yeah. He had things to reiterate to her. And so, but then I met this guy, like, it was very last minute. We met on like Instagram. He like hit me up. That was during the days where I was really into Insta. And I was like, oh my god, the timing, because I was staying with my sister, like literally, yeah. And I don't know, it was time, I guess, like, I don't know, I was just feeling like I had to leave. So, you know, I was originally there because I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to start the fashion app. So anyways, all right, the point is though that, yeah, the timing was horrible, but then I met this guy, we met twice, and then a few different factors, you know, I just, I don't know, I didn't want to like hang out more, and I ended up leaving. And so, and I felt like, you know, it was a weird energy. Like, I'll be very honest, guys, you know, with you, like, yeah, like we had a moment, and then like in the morning I felt like he was like kind of rushing me out. I mean, he did have obviously like a job, and at that time I was not working like with a company. I was an entrepreneur. I was working on my own project, so I wasn't like, you know, having the same schedule that he did, but still, like, for it just, yeah, for a hookup standard, like, it was definitely I took it as kind of like a little bit rude, but anyways, okay, so the point is, yeah, so he was rushing me through in the morning, like through his kitchen, and he was like, and then he backpedaled, and he was like, oh yeah, do you want anything from the fridge? Actually, he like opened the fridge, there's like orange juice and like some cheese, and I was like, no, I don't, bye, let's just go. Yeah, okay, you're already pushing me out, this is super awkward. Okay, yeah, I was offended. Returning the crown shower. So then we like left, and then I ended up going to New York. like in the 3D, to go to my grandpa. But like when I was talking to him about that, okay, whatever, well, I won't mention that, but okay. The point is that I left, and so anyways, now, yeah, then, but in this dream, yeah, then I came back to DC actually after New York. I was there for some time, and that's when all this weird, the synchronicities and the weird, I felt like someone was holding on to my head, like my brain, and they wouldn't let me like get off of this guy. It was so strange. Like hearing so many songs, that had never happened ever. So that's where I say catalyst. And so that was definitely the return, the initiation to a spiritual awakening, and it was very, very intense. So now then though, when I'm in DC again, then I kept bumping into him, because I would go back and forth a few times. My sister lives there. So, and I wasn't ready yet. Yeah, okay, so the point is that then I keep bumping into him on top of everything, on top of, like getting all these like downloads about him. And so that then in the dream with this guy, I didn't know it was him in the moment. I'm like, who's this guy? In the dream, I didn't place it, but that was him, because I kept seeing him in the city. We're just clearing the energy. Bye, return it. This is the same person who, I keep bumping into people who know him. Anyways, the night before I left for LA, because at the time I actually lived in LA, it was last night that I was walking through the city, and I saw him. It was late at night. I was walking through the city, and I've told this story before. And I was walking home, and with that same, like, I see a bright star here. I see like I was feeling this like head, like clutching, like from spirit, like I couldn't stop. It was just the weirdest feeling ever. I'm walking, and it's like late at night. It was DuPont Circle, and I'm walking in a circle. I was going from Adams, if those of you familiar with DC, I was going from Adams Morgan down to DuPont Circle. And come to think of it, the first night when we were talking on like Insta, I was there. I just, okay, Spirit is giving me some downloads here about this right now. Okay, I will preserve, I guess, the privacy, but basically, well, oh my God, my Mars and Gemini. Whatever. So the point is that, okay, I'm walking down. Remember that whole thing with the soup? Who remembers this read? The soup. I was sitting with that guy, and Spirit told me to focus on him in the shop. They said, just keep looking at this guy. And I'm like, okay. So at first, because I had a flight the next morning, so I was hitting up all my favorite spots in Adams Morgan before I left, because I was going to miss it, There were many memories, even like, it was me and my sister, these places we would go. So anyways, then I was like, I'm going to be late. It's like late at night. It was like, at that time, it was October, 7 p.m. This was actually right as the Pleiadian light lineup was on. November 17th, I think. Something like that. November, 16th. So then I'm like in this little soup shop, and I'm getting this like really good soup to go. It was like a tomato soup. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I feel like maybe I should just have it here a little bit and then go. Because I was going to save it, actually. I don't know what I was thinking. I was save it for my flight or something. I don't know what I was thinking. So just a nostalgic thing, Then I'm like, okay. Spirit wants, apparently I need to I'll just sit down and have this soup, because there was only one other person in there sitting there, and I could only see him like from behind or something. And Spirit okay, they were basically I had to sit down. I'm like, okay, so I start eating the soup. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna eat the soup now. So Spirit then goes, focus on this person. I'm like, okay. So keep eating. I've basically finished the soup. No soup left. Finished the whole soup. I'm sitting there, and then I'm just on random Insta. And then all of a sudden this guy gets up, and then Spirit goes, okay, now that's your clue. When he leaves, you leave. So then he gets up. Just clear the energy. I start walking out the door. He goes one way, I go the other way. I start on my way, I go home. So I'm walking home, again, from Adams Morgan down to DuPont. And I go down this little street, and DuPont Circle is well a circle, right? So I go down at the corner, turn. I had my hoodie on, I had like a black puffer on, and like white Converse or something, yeah. And like jeans. I remember what I was wearing. I had a brown bag, like a brown leather bag, like a tote, pebbled. Okay. So I had my headphones in. I was listening to music that night on my way back. Now thinking back to this, I was like, that's fucking crazy. I mean, these days, love and light. DC is, I mean, anyways, okay, so, but, you know, we were guided, and so that was what was meant. Yeah, that was just, I would do that quite often, actually. Maybe DC has just turned into a different place these days. Well, it's always been, but recently, I wouldn't do that. Anywho, I was walking back, had headphones in. I was listening to this musician. I remember the song, Banks. The name of the song is Waiting Game. Alex, you want to share with Isaac? Angel? You want to share, though? Doesn't really look like it. Come on, Alex. Can you please share with Isaac? Good boy. What, everybody on the count of 1, 2, 3. Now, yeah, that's a big deal for a 4-planet Scorpio. Now, so basically, and this catalyst has 4 planets of Scorpio. Same birth chart as Alex. So anyways, like literally Mars and everything. And the moon. Now, so then I'm listening to the song Waiting Game. Something like, I don't want to say this is a waiting game. Those are the lyrics. I stop and I take even like a fucking selfie. The minute I turn on the turning road, I stop and I take a selfie. I was talking to someone random on Insta. And I send him, I think, I don't know what it was. Something, I don't know, I just take that selfie. And then I didn't look behind me at that point, but I keep walking. And then I stop at the cross stop. There was a stop sign on the circle. And then something tells me, like, turn around. So I turn around, and I see this Catalyst twin standing right there with 2 other guys. Y'all, my jaw dropped. And I'm looking at him. There's so many clues that make this a big deal, like more than maybe I don't know, maybe y'all feel it. This was a very, 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 it was, I am hearing from Spirit auspicious. Yeah, anyways. And he is like, he turns his head. And there were 3 guys in total, including him. And, yeah. He was like, and I was like, this was the night before my flight back to LA. Yeah, so then, we were talking, whatever, and so then I drop him off, because, we started walking the circle still, and, like, we walk half of the circle, and then we walk down another street. So the way that DuPont is, it has these little veins that go out. So, yeah, basically, and then I walk home. So, obviously, that conversation was very, significant. It was the last that we would have ever had openly together. And so, yeah. Now what is this now? So then I went, yeah, to LA, okay. So then, yeah, so. But after that point, I had come back to DC many, many a times to visit my sister and so on. And every time I would see him in the streets, like, until, yeah. The last time was about 2 years ago. So anyways, and that's the same person who either I see that person or I see people who he knows. Anyways, I don't know why Spirit wants to talk about that. But yeah, but in the dream I actually saw him, yeah. He was on like, on the scaffold of like the side of like a building. In that dream, he was more like, I recall him as like a temporary, how do we say? Yeah, he was there like temporarily, which I guess is true. Like this guy was a diplomat, so he was like on a post, I guess they call it. He wasn't to be in DC, I guess, forever. So, and in fact, yeah. So, but in the dream, it was quite the same. This guy was. It was my understanding that he was not like. This is the same person with the double within the 7 minutes I saw him. Do you remember that story? We told that very recently. So yeah, this is the same. Yeah, very, very interesting. And I feel like Spirit, like it's always Spirit. Like I know the day that I'm gonna see him. Like if I would back in those days, because Spirit would literally like tell me. I would always know it. They start like, yeah, I would be wearing something significant. It's just something very interesting. But anyways, in the dream, it was more like casual, very casual. I saw him like as like even like he maybe was like a lay worker or something. And I saw him in this 3D. I saw him where there is like a flour mill factory. I don't know, maybe those of you who are familiar with DC know, but yeah, that's a flour factory. And hi Jade. So it's kind of got this like the way, so this town is called Georgetown. There's a hilly road. It's kind of like a bit of like San Francisco. I don't know, these things are very interesting because because I was talking about San Francisco the first time. I was even talking about Boston with him the first time we met. I'm talking about the Catalyst twin. So the first day we met in Georgetown, but we were walking around and we were talking. He was saying, so do you like DC? And I was like, well, I like Georgetown. It's very quaint, very charming, much like Boston. And because I went to school, but I love Boston, and I was telling him how it reminds me of Boston. But I love Boston. But yeah, frick, I adore Boston. But yes, it's I would say probably like my favorite. I don't know. I like New York too, though. It's hard. Okay, give me a second, Isaac. You want me to open the doorway? So, anyways, we were talking about that, but then I also said, yeah, like I love San Francisco. Okay, so now what are we talking about? Yeah, so the way Georgetown is set up, it has these hilly roads, and they kind of go up like very, very steep from the Potomac River, right? So there's this one road. It's very steep. It's very steep, and it has a factory on the hillside of it. And I saw him, the last time I saw him was right around there. And that's that. So many, many little clues, but hey, we won't really get into it, I guess. So, but yeah, many, many clues. 22, the number 22 coming up right here. Something about, so I'll also mention this though, so, because this is definitely a sync as well, like, the place where I saw Isaac, his guide, Isaac's guide, before Isaac came to the 3D, why is this, I don't know, it's just flip, but yeah, Foxtrot, so I used to always go there. Now, very recently, Spirit gave the download on that. Foxtrot. Yes, booby. Oh, Isaac remembers the name because I always say, oh, you want to go to Foxtrot? So, Foxtrot, I Googled it. And very recently, because I was like, what does that even mean? Foxtrot is, I don't know, cute. Cute name. But no, like I researched it very recently. I did a private service. Anyways, it's a Alabama. Something pops up about the Alabama slide. Now, recently, very, very recently, I went to go get some crafts for making their clothing, right? Because I'm making clothing for the dogs. Please don't potty there, Isaac. Good boy. And then all of a sudden it says your location, Decatur, Georgia. Now, I don't know what's going on. Decatur, Georgia. And I never typed that in. It just identified my location as that. So this is all very interesting. So many little clues. I'm hearing something about graphs. And as you know, my grandfather, who was from New York, he wasn't from New York, we'll say. Hi, baby doll. Same birthday as Isaac. And he started off with fashion. He started off tailoring for, I mean, now we would say like high society, but he was very humble. Yeah, he did that in Iran, and then he had to escape, and then he escaped here. Actually, I think first he went to, he lived in many different places, actually. He went all around, and then finally he came to New York, and then he was like in New York, years ago, and he brought his 2 sons. He was, so very interesting stories, yeah. And then I lived in New York with him for some time, in his living room. I remember that. That was in, so, and yeah, I do feel he's a guide to like, this project, like my next, and I've always been into fashion, always, I knew like I wanted to have my own line, always. It's just a matter of time. So I think the time is coming now. It is. We're gonna have by the way, guys, the first set of hoodies. So that's very exciting. We're starting with a small asset space here. Okay, we're starting small, guys. But it's the first batch, and that's very exciting. And yeah, more fashion. My baby. That was to my grandmother. I was talking to her. Yeah. Or maybe I did mention it last night in our Astro chat about the purple sticker that was in my hair that Andre pointed out. Yeah, I did mention the Astro chat last night. I don't even know. Is this thing recording, guys? Hey, guys, can you hear me? If you guys can hear me, can you type 12, 12, 22? Yellow. Oh, great. Okay. So, that the day after my grandfather transcended, I didn't know by that point, and I decided to go on a walk in nature. So I go on a walk in nature, and I'm walking, and I see, remember that figure on the tree, and that was the day that, right after that Astro chat, I got the news from my mom. My mother, she told me, so, and, but in the Astro chat, we were talking about a hearse. We were clearing the crown chakra on the left side body, the crown. I mean, I was talking about the Rat Pack, and the purple, the shoe sticker, shoe size, 8.5, remember that? Andre was like, what's in your hair? And I'm like, huh? I thought maybe it was a joke or something. So then no, there's really something in my hair. There was, and remember even we were seeing purple all around, and I remember we were saying there's a presence. Yeah. That was him. I always said this last night. So for myself, I know how that resonated, and I remember it was on that, I saw a hearse during that Astro chat, and I saw love and light, but like a rat on the side of the road. So, something definitely, significant, I would say. And then, but he came, when he first started his fashion thing, he started with shoes. He was making shoes from scratch. Yeah, the bell. So yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I gotta go back and feel like I should go probably watch it. That 8.5 sticker though, that's very significant. Yeah, I remember thinking, huh? And at that point, I didn't know that he had passed. So yeah, that's very interesting. We were at Navy Yard. The place we were walking was Navy Yard. And the other day I was walking there with Alex, actually. And we were getting some downloads and syncs. Look at Alex, guys. Church bell. I have yet to really understand, like, fully the history with DC, but yeah, obviously I think that I do have, like, a lot of past life energy here. There is something about Navy Yard as well with the Capricorn who I knew right after the Catalyst. Because when we were in separation, I remember walking around that area, and actually when he had visited me at a certain point from New York. He was actually from Syracuse, which is funny because that's Sicilian. Clear the energy. Yeah, I don't know what keeps reconnecting, guys. This service. When I was very young, going to Syracuse, he was a Libra, I think. Yeah, he was a jerk. Anyways, so yeah, in like high school, and then he changed high schools. He ended up going to some like all-boys school, and then he became a totally different person. He became kind of like a with the Libra from. I don't know what's going on, y'all. Serves buffering and stuff. So I think I have a serious past life with maritime, naval stuff. Yeah. Always, because I feel like we getting. Oh, where are you at, doll? Catching the wave, nonetheless. Anyways. What were we saying? So yeah, but the Syracuse connection, the Syracuse link. There's a Capricorn. And when I had separated from him, this makes a lot of sense. Because actually when I first met the Capricorn, our very first conversation point was, we met on a dating app. You guys remember this story. I didn't want to do the dating app thing, but my sister made that a little profile for me. Dating. Yeah, right. He couldn't even love and light. He awesome motherfucker ever. This Capricorn dude. So, and are we surprised by it? He has like 4 planets in Capricorn, but that's not an excuse. I mean, we got into many arguments. It was very hurtful. Hey, Isaac Wadbulber! Like literally, he was starting. I mean, he was like a student, but still, like he was just being. No. No. It was very awkward. Like, you're telling me that you cannot even afford, like, a $7... It's a gesture thing. You can't even afford, like, a $7 burger? Anyways, just it is whatever it is. So it was a whole little hook. No, we were saying no... With the whole pirate thing, no pun intended, okay? Yeah. With the whole cruise thing or whatever. Not that, I mean, I'm not out here gold digging shit, but whatever, y'all. I mean, to lie in your bio is just, there's a moment. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah. Like, that you'd be paying for me, but shoot. The cruise never happened. The cruise, that was a whole, like, let me just try to get followers thing even. He was just trying to get followers from his dating app. Love and light bye. So the point is, though, that, what's the point? Ooh, Jade, you are shedding, doll. We gotta get you all, like, vaccine. So when I had broken up with eventually the Capricorn. I remember Spirit was giving me a lot of downloads on our connection, and like, you know, in the aftermath, and coincidentally it was right around the Navy Yard area, so I know that, yeah, return it. There's some kind of connection and correlation to the sea. Remember that song, Atlantis? Under the sea. Oh my god. It's rainy, y'all. But yeah, even with the catalyst, there's a connection to the sea, though. Yeah, I would see him, no pun intended, around... I saw him right here, on the coastline, so, with the docks.